So well, I haven't done it for a while, so I'll do a couple of last days that I've been posting. I guess since Friday, so I'll kind of go over that. So start with I had a call last week, space call to cover and hope to David to join, but he didn't join. But anyway, it had good turnout, very good conversation. But one thing that I noticed the change was MULN site. Let's see the commercial page. So yeah, so commercial page which has this interface, this UI on the bottom, which is a MULN commercial under telemetrics. And bottom of that, there's a now login page. I just noticed it last week, and basically what that is a desktop version, right? So you can at least at least go into the account via web browser. So there's typical managing fleets, but obviously they have the application version for the fleet manager and driver, but this is the actual guy that's going to manage via the website, right? So there is Mullen commercialpulse.com. That's actual the website address to access login. So this is actually up. So that means they're pre-closed. So hopefully, we'll see some kind of news. I've been kind of bugging David, why not they're not leveraging this, and they should be using this. And this is the actual login page here, Mullen Commercial Pulse login. And hopefully they do more, right? They need to show up the demo. They should do an event and leveraging the Mullen commercial software part of it, just like anything these days, right? Whether it's Apple or other vendors, everything happens at software, right? The just like any of the EVs, EVs are becoming commodity, right? It's now software to manage the infrastructure, right? The assets, and that's what's the critical, and that's what the Mullen Commercial Pulse, the fleet management software, is all about, right? The location of the assets to the actual the how the vehicle is being used. Does it have an alert from a service perspective, battery perspective, right? Are they doing safety things of safe turns, the speed, and all that stuff, right? So it's not just the asset management, but entire overall, right, end to end managing of your business, the driver, the assets, and then obviously the serviceability, right, and all that ties into the application. That's why this application is critical. And I've been telling David to get those as the your Trojan horse, so called, right? That should be your go-to market conversation when your sales reps are talking. Enough about bands, right? The batteries and late range miles, those are pretty much standard, right? Because they're using CATL batteries, what's been out there. So that's not gonna what the vehicle is gonna sell. I mean, if you have a right price and right mileage range, yeah, that's start. But end of the day, when they have thousands of fleets, the software is actually one that's going to make a huge difference. So hopefully, they'll do something moving forward. I haven't seen any official news on this one yet, so there will be one thing. I'll be pinging David, and which I haven't pinged David every day almost. And then these are the vans arrive in LA on the 8th, so it's heading to Memphis. And then there's actual plant procurement specialist just got hired. I think she started in July. So obviously, procurement meaning that all the parts, right? So that's another good thing to see. Again, I do cover and love other stuff, right? Like Tesla, Lucid. So, I seen the Lucid the other day. It looks nice for sure. Price tag, and then I was driving home. You see bunch of Teslas here, so the where's the world's heading to, right? The all EV. And then I do love SoFi as well, so I've been telling folks to migrate off of TD Ameritrade or Schwab or Robinhood or anything like SoFi has a good leader, CEO Anthony Noto, so that will be another stock that I cover. I used to cover a lot more, but they're already executing. There's not a whole lot of things to cover, right? And net new, but I had a good dinner last week, weekend, bottle of sake and nice sashimi and stuff. That was good. I finished the whole bottle. I've been tweeting, and here's another food stuff. But I had a good Sunday with the Niners win. The Brock Purdy, that was good. But on that same note, obviously the second tour opened up, which is Charlotte is starting tomorrow, I believe, and then Washington starting from 18 to 19. And the difference here is now they have GT, and within the GT, now they have a time slot open. So I'm not sure if it's actually drivable. It's just like RT. They had it where the RS I'm talking about, the 5RS, they had it, but it wasn't working condition for whatever reason. But hopefully the GT will be different. So they have time slots. So we'll see. We'll find out in a week or so. Again, talking about 49ers. I've been watching. That was good. And then I love Monroe. Sandy, right? So he talked about how the Lucid and their motor is probably the one can be actually compete with Tesla. So I love to watch his teardowns, and they do a great job of it. So do follow them, and then a couple of just like people mentioning about China. So again, kind of pointed out because I was watching the game, and then actual Ford commercial popped up and say 100% assembled in US. So it's like okay, so it's not made in US, it's assembled in US. So I thought that was kind of funny as I was watching the game. So I kind of pointed out on the tweet, that's my man 13 Brock Purdy. Some of the same stuff here, talking about the Ford and how it's assembled. And while at it, right? So I kind of look back, and the back 1990 Ford lost a bit to GM on the SAIC, right, partnership. So this partnership where GM won against SIC. So what happened is the Ford lost, and that's why they went with Jiangling Motors, I guess that's how name. So the JMC they call it. This is now where they make the Transit and Focus and Fiestas and all that other stuff. So they won 41% of it. So just NASA, Chinese. So I just wanted to point out that for GM has those relationships with big China manufacturers, and obviously GM with Wuling, which are owned by SAIC as well, which MULN imports their vans. Here's a little celebration of the Niners win, and then they tweeted about the Charlotte, which is coming. I guess it's tomorrow, so 13 to 14. And then just talk about another thing about the Ford, Jingling Motors, JMC, the E-Transit, right? So there's an actual article about the E-Transit was made in China, I guess, with the JMC or by JMC, so which headed to Walmart, and this was back in 22. So. And then there's a link to the Ford and how many operations they run. Right? I mean, if you can look at it, they got a huge operation in China just for the Ford assembly line, right? So that's another point that I pointed out. And then the other thing that I pointed out was this one right here. So Hertz Lease. So if you look at the kind of wording, right? Leading provider of vehicle leasing and fleet management. Leading Irish leasing and fleet management provider, right? So The wording sounds familiar, and then when you first kind of Google who's the largest leading leasing company in Ireland, and Hertz was coming out, which is owned by Archer Sheridan. So I thought that was interesting, so I pointed out. But this one, just going back, the 30-day order, they already secured the order, right? So, and those are already pre-sold. So we'll find out who that person or who that company is. I love this one, just telling on the CNN, "Fuck you, Jake." So I thought that was funny. And then I just tagged Charles Payne, the bear, the teddy bear. Anyway, so that's that. And then someone posted the Lucid in Korea driving. There was actually Lucid the event by LG, or LG event, and then the Lucid was in the event, like March time frame. So this vehicle, it was the exact same color, so still in Korea. So that must be doing something. And then the B4 event, before the event started, they got different variation of the V4 outfitted. So that's happening actually this week, entire this week and next week. And then the SoFi, they have the pre-IPO. So Instacart and ARM, you can invest through it. So if you're a member of the SoFi. And then here's the ARM as well, the pre-IPO. And then so this was what I was kind of expecting over the weekend. The news comes out, confirmed by David, and it was the Romeo Power, which was actually purchased by Nikola a while back, for 144 million. And then they decided to liquidate, or Nikola decided to liquidate the Romeo. I think because of there's a two lawsuit going on with Lightning E Motors and Petretta, I think, is the other one. So I think they decide to just dump the company, I guess. So they pick up all the equipment. So this is the video that I captured from their website a while back. When they were operating, right? So this is just show you the infrastructure and they had how they operating it. So they acquired those assets for 3.5 million. So which isn't a big deal. Obviously, the equipment, the value goes down really quickly. There's some patents and intellectual property IPs they're getting along with it. So I think it's a good investment, I guess. 3.5 million. So they ramp up that Monrovia, so they'll be moving all this gear they acquire. So I think that's good. And then kind of this is just to go back and what they acquire as a Nikola. So you can also look at that as well. And what else did I tweet? Let's see. So this Russian net element, I don't know where this guy popped up, but it looked like a bear being a bear. And then Mark mentioned about MULN and how MULN shareholders are in good position. So hopefully that's something. And obviously the Wes Christensen, there's a loss going on. So I copy Wes Christensen and see if he can be on the space call. So, but I haven't heard back anything yet. So we'll see. And then just the video again, this actual video that I recorded and posted. Now MULN decided to put the video on their website as well, so you can also find it on the MULN website, the videos, and then there's a link of the video, but you could actually log into front page and then there's a banner right there. You can take a look at it. And I did post some of the patents. There's 41 of them, I believe. So that's the good stuff of some of the things that they can leverage right off of that. the patent. And I got an email, 50K charger, so great. And started with, first one back in 2012, and now broke that 50K mark. So good for Tesla. And did a little bit of the Apple coverage, just the new 15 iPhone today. And then there's another job post, commodity manager, and I think this is something to look out for, right? Build supplier database, facilitating NDA execution process during a supplier development. And then this person position based out of Irvine, or it could be on Troy or Tunica. So this could be a role that can be leveraged for both commercial and the consumer line. So, and then the little Insta post by Robert on the drive, right? So you can see those pics that they have taken and posted. So they're getting ready for the test drive event starting today, I believe. So that's that. The Apple stuff. Wow, titanium, $100 difference. I guess having a titanium, I guess will make difference. There's a new A16, A17 chip, and then I think I told one of my friends back in the days, like, yeah, you need to go into mobile business game. Now look at what Apple's doing, right? Putting the console game in the phone because the amount of processing power it has, right? So, and then USB-C coming. More apples. The right events posted by Vollinger. Some of the semi tests and their data I also posted. And this is another thing that I point out to David again, that they need to leverage. So this whole commercial pulse was built back in 21, 22. And this was their kind of direction, right? Where they want to go by leveraging all those data points and creating a solution off of cloud, and using it for a fleet manager, the route manager, driver. So the fleet manager is for the fleet application, driver for the driver application. You can find on the Apple or the Google Store. The route manager, that's for actual the people that are looking at the routes and assets, and just from more of a desktop perspective, right? So managing your fleets. And this is kind of high level architecture of what that telemetric solution that Commercial Pulse is, and how it's leveraging different resources, right? And then how they are going to market and address as a solutions for endpoint usage through browser and iOS and Android. And this is the ELMS digital strategy they put out back in 22 when they attended the CES show in January of that year, 22. And fasten your seatbelt. This is Jim Taylor, who is now the COO of MULN. So they're really going after the software part of it. So that's really good to see, because that's where the most margins are, right? So, and then kind of their go-to-market, right? So they're kind of comparing with how the transformation happening in industry, and how the Commercial Pulse will kind of lead in the commercial sector and the EV space with the fleets. So that's that's good story there. And then did a little poll. Yeah, I'm not gonna talk about it. I'm not saying there's squeeze coming, but hopefully we all need some kind of it. But the last thing I wanted to kind of share is the tire, right? So it was arrived in LA, so now it's being carried over through the rail. So rail actually departed it. So discharge, rail, and then departure time. So hopefully it will land in Memphis and transfer over to Tunica at some point in the next couple days. Okay, I think that's it. So that's kind of updates. We'll see if there's any other more news that coming up later this week. So I think something will happen. So we'll see. All right. Thanks for listening.